awesome question. What's the difference between giving my time and giving my tithe and giving my gift? So God asks for 10% of each. He's not asking for 7% of my time, 3%, 2% of my money, and 1% of my gift. God is asking for, in your life, in your body, to give God 10% of your time, meaning 168 hours a week. You give God 16.8 hours a week. 168 hours a week, you give God 16.8 hours. So if we're going to be really keen to the text, that's literally saying giving that time to the church, not local nonprofits, to build your relationship with God. God asks for 10% of your time. That's 2.4 hours a day. 10% of your time God asks for. That is not in lieu of or replaces the 10% of your finances. When God asks for who we are, and we find this in the book of Leviticus, when God asks for who we are, he's asking us to give all of ourselves. But when he asks us to give all of ourselves, God understands that our flesh says, hey, listen, man, I don't know if I can see it. So then God says, fine, give me a tenth of it. Not half, not a fourth, but a tenth of it. So that means over the course of your week to give God 16.8 hours. Now, with that comes another 10% of your resources, your money, right? With that also comes 10% of your gift. That talks to serving in the local church. That talks to serving in God's community, serving in God's kingdom. It talks about serving in the local church. All of these deal with the local church. Above that, we'll get to the next question, talks about offering. That's where we go into the community. But it talks about serving the local church. That means looking at the areas we can serve in the church, where God is calling you to use your gift. That's where we tithe our gift, we tithe our money, and tithe our time. There's no place where God is saying, you give me 5% of your time, 3% of your money, and 2% of your gift. God says, I want 10% of your gift, I want 10% of your time, 10% of your money. What that tells us then too, you can then have 90% to give everywhere else. But God simply says, give me 10%. And I believe God is so good that we all know he deserves a little bit more than 10%.